All right. Welcome everybody to the Thursday night Zoom. We've been doing these things for many, many, many years, and I am so privileged tonight to bring you SherriLynn and John Ocala. She was a stay-at-home mother prior to It Works Global. 7 years she's been with us. They're double ambassadors, and they're all in together. They're just so inspiring. It's what I call a power couple. And I'm not going to take any more time. I want you guys to come on and share the vision, share the story of where we got to where we are to this point. But John, you and SherriLynn, if you can share the vision of where you know we're going with all these years of foundation, we're fixing to set world records. I've been here 20 years, full time. World records are on the way. I see the numbers and how everything is building up to the next level. And I am so privileged to have you on this Zoom tonight. So take it away.
Oh, yeah, we're excited to be here. Yeah, so it's 7 years. I guess I could say some of where we've come from, and you want to say where we're going. Yeah. So, I'll just give you like the quick 60-second story. When we joined, John was working full time. I was a stay-at-home mom. Our girls were 1 and 2 years old. And like so many families, we were just that paycheck to paycheck. We went to school, both had our degrees, but started having kids, and with the mortgage and the time we had car payments, it just kind of felt like we were on this hamster wheel we just couldn't get off of. We'd save up, then the AC would go out or something would happen on the car. And it just was just this cycle. And I remember praying, God, there's got to be a way to make extra income. Like there's got to be a way. And really kind of what was like the rock bottom for me was I had asked John if we could put our daughter, she's now 9, almost 10, but at the time she was 2 years old, almost 3. I asked if we could put her in like a dance class, and he's like, babe, what envelope is that coming from? Because we just did not have the extra $80 a month for a dance class. And that's when I realized things are tight. Like they are tight. We don't have an extra $20 a week. And we truly didn't. Not long after, I saw an acquaintance I went to Bible school with posting about the products, before and after photos, talking about the business. And I'll tell you what, and I like to say this because I feel like this can happen right now, or I don't feel like it. I know this kind of thing happens right now. I was watching, I was intrigued, but then part of me was like a hater, where I'm like, I'm gonna unfollow her. Like, I don't even want to see all these belly pictures, almost unfollowed her, kind of stalked her, and then ended up messaging her. Okay. So even when you feel like no one's watching, okay? Yep, I see some of you are like, I watched for a month. Yeah, drop a 1. If you're like, yep, I watched my enroller for a little bit before I jumped in. So I watched her for a few weeks and then, messaged her. And I do have to tell you this, all I wanted to do was try the wraps. That was actually, I was reading about the business, but I didn't even really get what this industry was, okay? And I asked her about the body wraps to maybe order some. Our anniversary was coming up. I figured I'd figure something out, put it on the credit card, beg for forgiveness, whatever. And before I bought the wraps, she said something that changed my life. And she goes, hey, just to throw it out there, in case you're open to extra income for only $40 more, you could become a distributor. Had she not said that, in case you're open to extra income for only $40 more, I would not be here today. My enroller's not even in the business anymore, but her offering me this opportunity changed my life. And I say that because especially right now, how many of you guys have half-price codes, right? How many of you have those from buying your conference ticket? If you didn't get your conference ticket, you get the 5 half-price codes for June, 5 for July, 5 for August. And now it's like a no-brainer. But someone wants to order skinny tea, offer the business. They want to order some wraps, offer the business. They want to order coffee, don't be scared to offer the business. Had she not done that, I would not be here. And I know that. So that's kind of how our beginning went. I said yes. And then didn't really know what I got myself into. But the second I figured it out, I thought, hey, I'm all or nothing. So if we were going to give you all some tips, that would be one of my first tips. Go all in. Don't put your big toe in. Don't put one foot in. Like, just go all in. That's what I did. And by going all in, that took us, diamond in 3 months, double in 4, I don't know, presidential in a year and a half, we were ambassador. And then last year we went double ambassador. And then the month later, John's account went ambassador. So we have 3 ambassador accounts, which is pretty cool. Totally life changed when I really joined for $80, but I went all in. And I would say, go all in, get excited. Ask people to join your business. Are you just sitting there waiting for them to come to you? Or are you asking them to join? And so that's kind of where we are. What do you have?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the story of how we got here. And I think I'll just tag on to what, Sherry talked about the journey. And, I think one of the things that we need to be reminded of is that of the opportunity that we really have to change people's lives through such a small step. And I think that, I still work full time and I trade stocks, and we talk about this all the time. But just for a second, think about any other business where you can start a business for $0 from day one. Like I would love for you to put in the chat what that is, because I don't care if you have a pooping, scooping business. You have to spend money on gas.
We have dogs and we use a pooping, scooping business.
That's what made me think
most
of
people
that.
might think that's a weird example. They don't know those exist.
Well, they do. But even in that, guess what? There's a cost to start that business. Am I right? Well, guess what? We have an opportunity in our hand that you can literally go into a business and they give you the equipment from day one that's worth more than what you paid. And guess what you just did? You just started a business for zero. And I think we forget about that. We're bashful when we want to offer the business to people. We're hesitant when we want to offer the business to people. But if there's ever a moment for us to offer something, it's something with zero risk, with the possibility of a great profit, a great reward. And that's the best investment in life you can make. Zero risk with the possibility of an amazing reward. And that's what we have in this company, in this vehicle. We call it Works. And so back to what Sherry was saying, why are we not asking people who are already ordering product, who already have given us their information to order product, hey, for just a bit more, or if you have half price codes for almost nothing, if you're interested in extra income, you should join me on this adventure. And this is what it's done for me. I think that's probably all I'll add to Sherry, is that why are we so hesitant? Why are we so bashful? Why are we so scared to offer something that's zero risk with an outstanding possibility of them making profit literally instantly within weeks? And that's just such a rare anomaly in society today and in the world today, and the economy today, that you don't have to get a loan. You don't have to go buy a bunch of stuff. You don't have to go ask someone for capital so that you can start something. You literally can start right where you're at in the positive and change people's lives, and in return, change your own life. And I think that we have to be more bold about inviting people along this journey.
Wow. So let me ask you this. I too have two daughters, and my daughters are grown now, and I got one getting married this year, and hopefully I have a grandson in the next 18 months. I never had a brother nor a son. So how's it impacted your children?
Oh gosh. I mean, that's so hard. Like, I love it. Like our kids, my desk is like a mess right now, y'all. You're seeing the cleanness. So if I could find it, but my daughter, they love watching us build this business, and they know that it's because of this business that we're able to do Disney World and do, like we've always said, like, mommy works so that, or we do it Works as a family, like so that we can do these extra things so we can give back. Our girls love giving back. I don't even think they would, there's no way they would have a heart for giving back like they do if it weren't for this business, because we just were never financially able to. When I'll give you a couple examples, but they're building a library at our daughter's Christian school, and Jocelyn came home with the donation paper, showed it to us, and pitched it to me, and I just really would love to give to this, Mom. Like, it's optional, but I think that would be, and how much do you want to give, baby? And she's like, I was thinking $100. And I'm like, you should want it. We could, what even more would you want to do? She's like, 500. And I'm like, I mean, Josie, I was thinking at least 1,000. She's like, yes, 1,000, and then I'm like, I want you to go pitch it to John, and like she did. And they just love being able, like, they think if we're in Starbucks, it means, hey, can we pay it forward, pay for the person behind us, and they all know it's because of this business. And then, when we set goals, they love hearing about it. Like, Mom, what number are you, and then like with everything. And then they heard me talking about the winner's circle, and I went to the first one, and I was talking about the island, and Jocelyn's like, what's our goal? How many do we need? And I told her last month, well, I think if mommy could sign 20 distributors in the next 2 months and work with them, you know, we could do it. So she literally made me a countdown. I was going to show y'all. I was going to see where I stuck it of how many distributors I needed to sign. And she's like, and we're going to check this off, you know, because it's so cute if I can find it. And she's like, we're going to check this off. Oh yeah, here we go. This is it. She's like, and so this is my 9-year-old, and these are all the distributors I need to sign. Okay. And they are my hype squad. And so and this is, you know, good. And then she told me when I sign my 20 distributors right down there, she's going to make me a coupon book. She's going to give me a reward. But like, and then she's like, so if you sign the 20, are you going to the island? I'm like, well, no, I don't know. This is just a good goal. I got to work hard, you know, but I love it because they're seeing what it means to go after dreams and to set goals. And when we went ambassador, or double ambassador, the video just popped up because we went double ambassador May 31st last year. And our girls sobbed. Like they saw the thermometer. They would come in my office to see how it was because we did a thermometer countdown for our team for that second account to go ambassador. I mean, and when they stayed the night at my mom's the last day of the month, and when they came in, they wanted to know if it happened, and we showed them the thermometer, and they just cried. And like, so we just make them a part. And that's what I would say. My kids have never been like, why are you on your phone, or why do you work so much, or anything like that. They just think, you know, and we try, not perfect, but try to, you know, have unplugged time and do all of that, you know, so that, but they feel a part of it. Yeah. What would you say?
Well, I would say this is that some of you're on here and you're brand new and you're like, man, I can't even think about like my kids being happy for me. Like they don't even understand this business. It starts with you being proud of yourself. And it starts with you signing that first distributor. It starts like we weren't always like this. Like I can remember early on in Sherry's business where I actually calculated when she was on her way to Ruby that she was making, I think, $2.13 an hour based on the time that she was putting in versus that, I think, second paycheck in her business, because the husband wasn't getting the vision or catching the vision at that time. I was never against it. I just didn't like understand it or, you know, was for it. And so some of you, you're brand new in this business, or you've been in this business. You're like, I can't even like think about my family being in this with me because I feel like I'm all alone. Guess what? She felt the same way. Guess what? There's times, this will blow your mind, we still feel that way in this business. Rusty, I'm sure there's times you've been in it way longer than us. It doesn't matter how successful you are in this business. This business is a character building business. And so if you want to change your life and your family's life, it's going to start with you. If you don't have that buy-in from your kids, your family, your spouse, your boyfriend, your fiance, whatever, it's got to start with you signing that one, signing the next one, signing the next one. And you know, when I think it changed my life was when I saw that Sherry hit diamond, and guess what? She paid every bill but the mortgage. And then I started going to work and I was like, whoa, so there's extra now. And you better believe I told Sherry I will never wear an It Works shirt. But the second she paid everything but the mortgage, I was like, order me an It Works shirt. You know, sometimes it takes you catching the fire and the vision for then the family to catch the fire and the vision. And so like, we weren't always like this. Now we're all in, baby. Now we know the potential. You know what? I still work my job, but even my brokers ask me like, why do you even come into work today? Because they know how big and lucrative Sherry's Health and Wellness Company is. But it didn't start like that. Like we are on chapter 7. Some of you, man, you're on page 2 of chapter 1 and you're comparing your life to chapter 5, 6, or 7. That's not good on you. Like you always hear your journey is your journey, your story is your story. But guess what? You have to start with you. You have to start here. You have to start here, and you got to go, baby. You got to do it. You got to dream before others catch the dream. As a leader, guess what? You've got to have vision before others catch the vision. So we weren't always like that. But man, I can tell you the last 3-4 years, seeing what it's done for our team and now our family, all those years, 1, 2, and 3 that seemed really, really hard at times. Man, now when the hard comes, it's like, it's worth it. It's worth it. Like, I can't wait to see how many more ambassadors we have on our team in 3 years. I can't wait to see how many more moms are coming home. I just saw a post today. One of our DTs pregnant, and she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom by the time she had her first baby, and she had her last day as a
Occupational
a pediatric occupational
yeah,
therapist.
she's a triple diamond, and now
her
she's
last
pregnant,
day-
and then yeah.
So that's what's
they were
worth it.
retired, yeah.
But did we know it at the time? No, we didn't know it. And so,
Mhm.
you know, start with you, and I guarantee you it's gonna pay off, and things will change for you if you're not in the position that we're in right now. I mean, I can't say it any different, that it's a character building business, but man, if you can take every season and find the beauty in every season, even the hard seasons, you're going to be in places you never thought in the next 2, 3, 5, 7, 10, 20 years.
And make it fun. Like, we went on a marriage retreat, and one of the best things that John and Lisa Bevere said to us, they're authors, we just love them, when we were asking for tips of how do they have 4 boys that are all serving God, and theirs is different, right? We run a business, they have a ministry, but they always included their kids at the table. They told their boys like what the Lord was showing to them, or what books they were working on, or they brought it in, like, and I just thought that's so powerful. Instead of like waiting until you put the kids to bed, right, to talk about what, you know, your business, you know, for them it's their ministry, but for us the business, including the girls and letting them know, hey, I'm working for this, like they can't wait to know, yeah, what rank is she, oh, so and so, oh, that mom that just came over, is she a distributor on your team? Like, our girls want to know, because we've done that, not realizing it was such a good thing, is that we made them a part, so they feel a part.
Well, I have a question. I went blank now because I done wrote so much. I'm just like, But I remember hearing your story and hearing you talk at one point in reference to this helped me be more relatable to what you guys were talking about and how I can relate to you. You explained at one point that you basically did steps to success. That was your way to get to the top. It wasn't massive enrollment at the beginning. It wasn't doing, you know, unicorn stuff, but you were accomplishing just steps to success, which was getting you to the top. You may have had the smallest team at Ambassador, but you were still like top 5, top 10, things like that. So if you can just elaborate a little bit more on that, newer people, because that grasped to me, because I'm not like the humongous top enroller only for anxiety reasons. I can't do more than 10 people, but I just loved hearing that.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, this is like, I print this still. Like, this is my steps to success. And you could look at it and be like, okay, so SherriLynn assigned, you know, 2 distributors this month. And at this point, I can figure out how to sign more. So I'm at 10 customers, because I'm like, with Host to Post, I figured out how to increase that. But yeah, like, I mean, with the codes, I'm able to do more, but the month before last, I mean, I have my sheet somewhere. Well, I am a mess. This should give you hope if y'all saw what I've got charts on charts. I'm like, somewhere is where I keep all the people I signed. But oh yeah, here we go. I mean, yeah, like I could go through, let's see, March. So March, I had a good month and signed 8. April, I signed 4. You know, I could go back to February, you know, and it's kind of always like that. So I always aim to like steps, to double my steps. I think number 1, printing them out is huge, because then you fill it out and you have a goal to go for. So that to me would be a definite tip. And absolutely, John, every year he'll look at how many distributors I averaged that year. So he just like takes them all and divides it by 12. And I want to say last year was like, you know, 6 or 5 point something. Like, it's never crazy amounts. And that's including whenever they have promotions. So you got to factor in promotions. Okay. So like a month where like last month I signed, you know, a lot, like, you know, I always kind of average at 5 or 6 a month, really every year. And I think the key is, so many times people are focused on the mass recruitment, which, don't get me wrong, if you're mass recruiting, do it. I will never tell you to sign less. Sign, baby, sign. Like, I'm trying to figure out how to mass recruit because I want to go to the island. I'm like, my goal is 20 DTs in 2 months. I can do it. And that's like hard to me, you know, like I'm like, ugh. But so much of it is when you sign someone, what's happening to them. And that's what I tell my team, and especially my diamonds and above. If you're a diamond and above on here, drop a 3. Who are the diamonds and above? You know, and I say, so you're signing them. How many went ruby? How many are getting their 6 customers? How many are going diamond? That to me is the true success, because you can sign them and that's awesome. And you get yourself a fast start and a cab, and that's cool. But don't you want to have people going diamond and have generational bonuses? Don't you want to be making 9% all over your organization? Don't you want to have like legacy money, like beach money that doesn't end? Because I wrote on my dream board, I wanted an ambassador diamond on every leg. And of my original 5 legs when we joined, ambassador, 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 I just need one more to have that 5th ambassador leg. Like, but I set that as a goal. She's double diamond, working hard, almost triple. But like, I want 5 ambassador legs. Like under John, I want 5 ambassador legs. You have any ambassador legs yet? No. And I'm like, that's what I want. I want like 2.0, 5 ambassador legs. I think I'll have the first one this month under there, and so like that to me is what is key. And when it works, and this isn't to toot my horn, this is to give you hope. When it works, did the thing where they announced last year, or was it this year, like the top ruby builders and the top diamond builders? I was a top diamond builder. Someone that averages 5 DTs a month was a top diamond builder in the company, because I know if I sign them, I can take the time to work with them. Now, I'm not ever going to tell you all to sign less. So don't twist my words and make me think sign less. I'm saying,
Yeah, don't be going around saying,
no,
Sherry
said
don't
sign
mess
less.
and roll.
Sign-
That's not
Matt-
what we're saying.
teach me how to sign
Yeah.
more. Okay. Like, no, I'm always learning. Like I had never signed more than maybe at max 10 customers in a month until I learned host to post a couple of years ago and was like, well, dang, like forget my goal being, I used to always aim to double the steps. So I'd want 8 customers and 6 distributors. I'd write it on my mirror because that was the old steps to success, right? The 3DTs and 4 Ls, so I'd write it on my mirror and I'd check it off. That was my goal. And then once I learned host to post, I'm like, no, now I like set goals like I want 20 customers this month. I want 30, so it's okay but that's recent with host to post. But anyways, I would say that don't think you can't go to the top being steps to success. Because really, like my goal since I joined was like, okay, I'm gonna print these steps. I'm gonna aim to double them, but it's taking the people and what's happening to them. Because if I have someone that signs, and I had a girl for a while that was signing tons and tons and tons, one of my master rollers, and I remember going, okay, but who has gone ruby? When's the last time? And I would ask y'all that. Ask yourself. Sometimes you have to do self-check. Don't feel bad. Don't compare. When's the last time I signed someone that went ruby? I had 4 personal rolls go ruby last month. So I know when I'm signing them, what they're doing and who I'm working with. And then I also do this game. Let me find, I should have gotten this little cleaner. I write down people that I sign that I'm working with and what rank, like it's hard to see, but I write down their name and like what ranks I'm working with them to go to, like of new distributors, newer ones coming in. A lot of times we get so hung up on Sally, who joined in 2017, who still hasn't gone ruby. Let Sally go. You're mad at Sally. Let Sally go. Sign someone new this month and work with her to go ruby in 30 days. Like fresh fish jump first. Like let Sally go, and when we get hung up on who's not, and put someone new in. Okay. But remember, the steps to success is having someone new come in. And, honestly, I think you can be successful if all you did was sign 2 new DTs a month. I really think you could easily go diamond, double diamond. I mean, and I'm not saying do less, but listen, but you've got to have, I didn't say 1 DT every 4 months. I didn't say 2 DTs in 6 months. Every month, though, you do have to have new coming in. And anytime my girls start going backwards and they want to talk to me and they're frustrated, I pull up and look. Had one recently complain about something. I said, John, how many triple diamond, how many distributors did you enroll last month? And he runs the report and goes, no distributors and 6 customers. That's why. So you have to have some coming in. You got to have. So print your steps, aim for your steps, be an overachiever, aim to double them, but really work with them.
You are amazing. I want to tell y'all are so good. I filled up a page of notes already. I have another question in reference to momentum building. So how are you able to still continue to build the momentum each month to continue to flow as far as growing your business and growing your teams?
What would you say?
Well, so I love the question on momentum. So I'll give you 2-part. We know late January through June, July, you don't have to create momentum, right? The company does that. The cycle does that. Health and wellness does that every year. Gym memberships show that. So the beauty of this business is that you don't really have to create momentum if you're working during those months. You just have to work. You have to invite people on the journey. What Sherry said, you have to bring fresh in. So then the other part of that is, well, what happens when the company is not giving us the momentum? And guess what? It's on you and me.
Mhm.
Well, the best way to have momentum is what Sherry said, to always have fresh coming in. And kind of let, I guess I'll add to and then answer your question, and Sherry can add to it, is, we always use the analogy of like sowing seed and the harvest coming based on being faithful in sowing the seed, right? So we throw all these seeds down, and hopefully you're throwing those seeds down every month, and there's some that sprout, there's some that don't. But I think where the momentum dies is where maybe we sign them, and let's say wheat, for example, we throw some seed down, the wheat grows, and then we feel like we've done our job because we're looking at the wheat. The wheat's beautiful. We got a bunch of wheat over there that the seed, we invited them, they joined the business, the wheat is there. But I think where we forget so many times is that not only is it work to sow the seed, it's work to plow the wheat. And so you've got to take that wheat and you got to do something with it, right? And so you can't make bread without wheat, right? Well, if you're just staring at the wheat in the field and you're not taking the wheat and using the wheat the way it's intended to be used, like, you're not going to grow your business. You're not going to grow your harvest. So the best way to have momentum is to constantly have fresh coming in. And back to what Sherry said, I love what when she asked you, when's the last time you built a Ruby? Sometimes the best thing you can do for your business is have a smaller goal. Then maybe you've fallen back from double or diamond or triple, and that seems a little bit daunting. Maybe you just need to go back to a simple goal and create momentum and say, this month I am going to work with someone and have them go Ruby. And then you know what that does? That begins to create momentum. That begins to create excitement. That begins to spur belief back in you, because you aren't a horrible leader. You've always been a good leader, but you need to be reminded, hey, the business is actually really simple. I just have to keep doing it over and over and over again. And so while the beauty of it is the company gives us a lot of momentum, the cycles of this business gives us a lot of momentum, but what you do in that time is going to be the momentum that comes out of that. So like towards the back end of the year, what did you do when the company was giving the momentum, the health and wellness industry was giving the momentum? What were you doing in that time? Because there's always going to be promotions, there's always going to be things. But if you didn't plant the seed, if you don't have the wheat, when the opportunity comes in the latter months, if you haven't continued to work with your team, then it's harder to build that momentum in that time. But if you've done your job in those 6-7 months, it's a lot easier to keep that harvest moving in the latter end of the months. And so that's what I would say about momentum.
Yeah, totally. And if you're like, man, I'm not feeling it, like I didn't do what John just said, I wasn't creating it, I wasn't planting seeds, start now. And what do? Literally, you can create momentum by focusing on what you want more of. Literally, I have watched people, and I have done it in my business, where there were months and I had no one promoting. And I was like, my team sucks. Like, no one's promoting. I suck. We just also, like, I remember being like, this is horrible. Like, I am not leading from the front. I have failed these people. And I thought, I just got to create it. Okay, I'm going to celebrate the little wins. Who's gotten there right now? Shout it out right now in here. Who got 100 cash this week? We have till tomorrow. Who got the $100 cash? Shout that out. Celebrate that. Post images of, sorry, someone's. But yeah, post images of who got the $100 cash. Did someone go executive? Shout that out. They got their 6 LCs. Shout that out. Like, literally, focus on what you want more of and just create it. No, people. I remember having a girl that we had this talk, and I said, I want you right now. Like, her business had kind of tanked a little bit. She was just trying to come back. She goes, I don't know what to do. I go, celebrate everyone right now. Start celebrating it. You need to change your social media presence. You need to get excited. You need to sign someone new. That will always fix it too. Put someone new in the system. So, like Pam always said, get to work. It's really true. There's nothing that won't fix. Like, that will. But this girl had fallen backwards, just started celebrating little things, and this person's boxed for this and charted for this, and I remember other people going, man, so-and-so's team, they're on fire, aren't they? They're just killing it. And in my head, I'm thinking, she's actually like no, she is not on fire. She's trying to re-get the fire. But you know what? She created momentum. She created a fire, and all of a sudden she re-ranked. All of a sudden she promoted. And I literally, and this was during the fall, watched her create momentum in the fall. Focus on what you want more of. Celebrate those little wins. Celebrate that, and always put someone new in the system. And I'm telling you right here, right now, you can start that momentum. Create it now.
And I think that it goes back to leadership too, in the sense that if you wake up every morning saying to yourself, man, my team doesn't have any momentum, like you've already lost the day, you know, like you can do it at anything in life. Like there's a bunch of things that Sherry could look at John and say, man, those 7 things, John, they drive me absolutely nuts. I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like the way that he says this. I don't like the way he smells after he does this. She could look at all those things, or she could look at the 1 or 2 things that I'm doing right and focus on those things.
You do a lot right.
But all that to say,
you do snore, but you do a lot right.
So there you go. So, but guess what? When you wake up in the morning, are you finding the good in your organization?
Yeah.
Are you finding the good in yourself? One thing we learned at the marriage thing that blew my mind, it's we always hear about that we're to love others the way that we love ourselves. Like, and you know, when we think about that, we think that we all love ourselves. But then we wonder like why our organization's not healthy, or why our marriage isn't healthy, or why our friendships aren't healthy. It's because if you really got down to it, there's a lot of things in you that you don't like. And so guess what you do? You love your team the same way that you love yourself. You look at all the flaws within yourself, and then you're looking at your team and you're finding all the flaws within your team. Like, give yourself some grace, give yourself some mercy, look in the mirror and say, you know what? I am a flawed person, but by the grace of God, I'm more than a conqueror. I'm the head and not the tail. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And you begin to love who God has created you to be. And guess what that does? It shifts your mindset on how you're going to lead your team day in and day out. That alone, by being a leader who believes in yourself, is a way to create psychological momentum and spiritual momentum within your team, where you say, I'm going to be who God's called me to be. And in turn, I lead differently. When I do it for him first, guess what? I don't have to worry about leading my team the wrong way. You know, I don't have to worry about making mistakes because I'm doing it for him first. And then what's the Bible says? Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and what? Everything else will be added unto you. And so it starts with having grace and mercy on who you are as a leader. It starts with then looking at your team and saying, man, so-and-so, they didn't have the best month, but look, they did sign 1 distributor. Look, they are working. Look, they are, maybe they're going through something in their life. Are we being that leader to them? And so momentum is such a huge thing, but it's more than just like numbers. It's about how you're leading your team as a whole. And I think one of the reasons the Lord has blessed our team, and I think it's a bigger team now, but when she went top 10 for the first time, I think it would be hilarious to tell you what her volume was when we were top 10 the very first time. But it was because we were leading well, and we had a bunch of diamonds, and that was our goal. Our goal was to just lead well and to do what we were supposed to do and be consistent in it. And that hasn't changed to this day. And it's no different for anyone on this call. We don't have some secret sauce. All we have is, I see the consistency in SherriLynn. We're consistent in what we do with our team. We bend and adapt and mold, and we go through the ups and downs every day, but we show up every day. Not every other day, not every other week, not twice a week. Every day I see my wife giving it her all. Every day when she's asking me, hey, can you enroll this person? Can you run this report? Everything has a method around it, and we're just simply leading our team, and all those things go into momentum. But I think it goes back to, if you feel like you're in a rut, you need to set a short-term goal, and you need to hold yourself accountable to it, and just begin to rebuild confidence. But maybe even a step further is, you've been looking in the mirror every morning and don't like the leader that you are. If you don't like the leader that you are, it is going to funnel down to your team in anything, in your business, in your marriage, with your kids. You have to love who God has called you to be and created you to be, so that you can love others the same way. And I think that, that's step 1. And then step 2 is what Sherry said. Find the little goals, go after them, hold yourself accountable, and begin to create that momentum.
You said something a while ago when she got her second check, she made just over $2 an hour for the time spent. Since you're in the, basically the investment banking business like I was, would you mind just touching on how that $2 an hour, how it's compounded over the course of time? It just gets bigger and bigger. It's kind of like what I did 20 years ago. I still get paid every month off of it. Would you explain compound to these people?
You do it. You're the one with the bank background.
Well, I mean, here's what I'll tell you is that I work on Wall Street. Okay. And I've been doing it 12 years. And every year I have a salary. It's a set salary. And February 15th of every year, I get a raise, hopefully. And the biggest raise that I've ever got is 6% on my salary. Okay. So let's say I'm making, let's make the numbers easy, $100,000, because that's a good number. So come February 15th the next year, guess what I'm going to get? I'm going to get a raise of $6,000, make $106,000 that next year. And then year two, you know, we don't have that great of a year. And so year two, you know, it was a tough year, John. So, you know, we're going to give you 3% raise. Okay. So now I'm $109,000. Wow. Like, that's great. With inflation being over 3% now, I didn't really get a raise at all. In fact, I'm kind of losing money this year. And every year I have to walk into the office and I have to hear, we either had a good year or a bad year. And John, this is why we're giving you 0. This is why we're giving you 3%. This is why we're giving you 6%. And by the way, here's your bonus that's completely dictated on things that are not even in my control. Like money goes out of our firm, an error happens, and you know, something bad happens that I had nothing a part of. I get to walk in there every day and they get to tell me their sob story as to why John doesn't get a raise and your bonus is about half of what it was.
You didn't get a raise like 3
I haven't
years.
got a raise for 3 years on Wall Street the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And so all that to say, and I'm trying to paint you a picture because this is what people are used to. And this is what people are, that they accept because it's the norm, is that this is what you do. You sometimes get raises, you sometimes don't. In Sherry's business, she dictates the raise each and every month. So there's been months where she's gotten a 40% raise. There's been months where she's gotten a 25% raise. There's been months where it's been flat. There's been months that it's been a 10% raise. But guess who it didn't like? Guess who couldn't dictate her check? This is kind of crazy to think about. Don't tell him I said this, but guess what? Mark Pentecost didn't dictate Sherry's check. Corporate didn't dictate Sherry's check. There's no manager that dictated Sherry's check. It was you on Wall Street. Rusty, you'll appreciate this. We say you eat what you kill. You go out there, you kill it. Guess what? You get to eat it, baby. If the cow is big and you slaughter that, we're having fillets. All of us are having fillets because we did the work to get the fillets. If you're a vegetarian, you can go out there and get some vegetables.
You froze up on me.
Come back, guys. Come back. This is, y'all drop some fire emojis if y'all feeling this, because I know I'm feeling it.
Y'all, I don't know.
Okay,
Technical
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you're here.
Okay,
We're here.
so where did I leave you?
We got vegetarians and going out and gathering vegetables.
Oh, vegetables. You
Okay.
cut off a while ago.
Okay.
We were talking to our frozen self.
So we say you eat what you kill. So this should be the truest form of the economy, that the people who are the highest performers get paid the most. And the people who want to coast and just go through, They shouldn't be rewarded for just coasting. And I think that that's the blessing and curse of this business, is that if you want to make CEO money, you just go at it like a CEO. If you want to make minimum wage, you go at it like minimum wage. But the coolest thing about this business is that you get to pick and choose when you want to give yourself a raise. And that is the greatest thing about this company. So now, I mean, I can be transparent. Sherry makes just over double, if not on certain years, 2.5 times what I make in a year on Wall Street through this business. Why? Because I have 4 or 5 bosses dictating what I'm worth. And I do a good job every year. I do a solid job every year, but there's people who get to dictate it. When Sherry does an excellent job, guess what? It's not at the end of the year or February 15th when they tell her how much she's going to make. It's on the 15th of every month, baby. And we see it every month. And it's a phenomenal just structure and compensation plan, but it's different. And that's what scares people. But different is good today. Different is a powerful thing today. And so go for it. I mean, it's yours for the taking.
One more question, and then we're going to end it because we've been on here about 47 minutes. You know, we see where the momentum's taking us. Where do you see us going in the next 12 to 36 months at the way we're growing at this particular point with all the foundation we got?
Okay, hopefully, tell me if we're cutting out, because it was a little bit, are we good? Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Or are we cutting out? Because it's our Wi-Fi. I'm good. I think it's
All right, you're there now.
Or it's. We're gonna see if this helps.
There you go.
Can y'all hear us?
Yeah.
Oh, phew. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna fix this. Okay. We have hardwire stuff. We should have hooked it up. But anyways. Oh. Okay. So here's what I'll say. I get excited with It Works and with where we're going. I mean, how cool is it that Slimming Gummies was #1, our best selling product ever, our best launch ever. Not best selling product, you know, because we've had other products around for longer, but it was the biggest launch ever. I forget the exact numbers that they shared, but like, I mean, we just now have our product with our biggest launch that we sold millions upon millions of bottles of. Like, that's wild, you know. I love that now they're really focusing by bringing in Dave, who's gonna, you know, doing the international. Like, that's pretty incredible that we haven't even scratched the surface of international sales. I mean, those people have to come under someone, right? I'm like, give me an internet. Like, I want to sign someone that's got connections, you know, to build internationally. That excites me. I mean, the fact that honestly, we're a part of a company that doesn't yet have even a rank that people are making 7 figures a month. Like, do I want to go Black Diamond? Totally. And I haven't gone Black Diamond yet, but I want to make $1 million. I want to make $1 million a month. I want to make, like, that's like, I have written down in my journal, like $2 million a month. Like, that's what I want. Like, so I love that we're a part still really of a ground floor company, you know, that we haven't yet gone beyond $1 billion. And it's gotta, those people have to go under somebody. And so, you know, I definitely think, talk about right place, right time, a company that's been stable, that's been consistent, a debt-free company where they're always looking out for us, always coming out. I don't know if they've been dripping. Have they been dripping products? I think they did on one of the calls. New stuff's coming, you know. I mean, it's exciting. And so, yeah, I think there's never been a better time. I'll never forget, was it 2 years ago? Not this past year, right before COVID, when we were in Costa Rica for the top 20 income earner retreat in Costa Rica. And Mark said, okay, y'all, I'm ready to go on another run. I want to know who's coming with me. Like, we're getting ready for a run. And talk about it. Like, I mean, we boomed while other companies were crashing during COVID. You know, I just feel like we are, without a doubt, right place, right time. And so I'm excited to be a part of this for such a time as this.
Whew. I have one more question, and then we're done. Can you give a tip? This is more so of a tip to give someone. I preach about this a lot, but I feel like maybe hearing it from you, maybe be a bit different. You can give a different perspective. What would your tip be for someone with a smaller network? Maybe not as many people commenting on things. Maybe it's not as engagement? What would be your tip for someone that has a network like that?
So you know what? I recently went through like a time where I felt like, man, and I do think algorithms changed and stuff. And some of our leadership, we were talking, and we're like, we're not getting the interaction on posts, and one of the girls, Tessie, she's like, okay, y'all, I gotta tell you what I've been doing. She's like, I have been, and I've never done this before. She's like, I have been spending like 15, 20 minutes interacting with other people. And I was like, really? Because that to me just feels like a time waster, like going through. She's like, no, I'm going through and I'm commenting to on the non-networks people. Because if you guys are like me, if I go to my newsfeed and scroll, it is all it works. Why? Because they're my friends, it's my team, I'm showing love on their posts. She said, I interact 15 to 20 minutes with non-networks people. And then she's like, and I keep adding. And she's like, I'm adding new people to my network. And then she started going through her friends list, asking people to host a post, going A through Z. And a lot of my team is doing this now. And if you've already asked someone to host a post, or you ask if they want to try a product, or you ask them to join your team, right? And they haven't done any of it, and they're not your real life friend, unfriend to make room. And I think at any time, Carissa, we can all create a big network. I really think that. I think we can all create the big network, but we need to be adding and we need to be interacting. I think those are two things we oftentimes, at least I oftentimes don't do. I actually been saying to John, I'm like, I'm gonna need you to be interacting on my Facebook. He's like, okay. One night I was like still working and John's like done with work, like ready to watch a show. And I'm like, no. Interact. I need you to interact. She's like, I've never told so many people they have cute babies when they're not cute. And I'm like, don't say that. But he's like, I'm like, I need to pay someone to do that. But he's like, I'm interacting. But you know what? All of a sudden there was new people in my newsfeed. I think I signed a few new customers. And so that's what I would say to do. Expand your network and do some interacting and watch that change.
I would also just add, and maybe you or whoever's asking has truly done this, but if you haven't done a hundreds list forever, or if you haven't done one in the past year or 2 years, you need to do another one, because the fact is like, although your network might be small, you have a bigger network than you think. And when you sign that one distributor, guess what? You have a whole network within a distributor that now you can tap into. And just to kind of like maybe add this, that, you say I have a smaller network, there's other people who have thousands of followers or whatever, what's better? Signing 20 in 1 month and one doing something, or signing 2 and one doing something? I mean, you could maybe get a few more fast starts on one side, but that's short-term money. To me, it's the same difference. Like if we can just sign the one, if we can just start with the one, for those of you who are like, I have a smaller network, and work with them and then get into their network, it's going to make your life a whole lot easier. So don't have the mentality of, I can't sign 20. Okay, can you sign 1? Can you sign 2? Because I would rather sign 5 and 2 take off than 20 and none take off. So you have to have a different mentality at times too, when it comes to, I have a small network. It's not always quantity. Again,
And
we're not opposed to quantity. Let's put our disclaimer there. But if that's not you, if you're more like us, quality matters, and taking people to Ruby matters. And yeah, Sherry, go ahead.
And host to post, because that is getting you into such a big network. I would say if I went through and wrote down the names of the customers I've signed this month, I mean, I have their names written down. I'm literally seeing real quick. Of the 10 that I've signed so far, 2 of them I know in real life. The rest have come from like Facebook, like host to post. Like that's like the only way they've come from, is whether someone put up a host to post, maybe I added them. That happens often. I'll sign someone and I added them like last year because of a host to post, and and then they ended up seeing a post and wanted to buy. So you can expand that. Like you can grow that. I feel like the people I'm signing there, 2 of them. I mean, the DT I signed, 2 of the DTs I signed this month were host to post, both of them. They came from that. And when I say that, it might have been like one of them, she was a recent one. She put up a host to post for me and then had tons of comments. So she joined. And the other one has been host a posting for me for a while, and probably came from me having somebody else put up a giveaway host a post. So I think that can also grow it.
Wow, so good. This has been amazing. Just so much protein, I guess, or meat that everybody needs to hear. Can I get you to do me a favor, John? Will you close us out in prayer before we go?
Absolutely, you got it. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this team, Lord. I thank you for the anointing that is within this team. And I thank you for every person who took the time to spend this evening with us and with Rusty and all the leaders of this team, Lord. And I just pray a blessing upon their life, God. I know that at times this business has its ups and downs and in betweens, Lord, and the mountain tops are very awesome and the valleys are very low. But Father, through it all, we know that we're here for this season and this time, and we're going to be faithful because we know that when we're faithful with the small, you make us ruler over many things, Lord. And God, I just pray for every team that's represented here, God. I pray for divine appointments, Lord. I pray for boldness and courage to invite people along this amazing journey. Father, so that we can just be a part of changing their lives more than anything, God. And Lord, I pray that just a financial blessing upon every distributor that's spending the time to invest in their business tonight, Lord. I pray that you would just bless them, God, that you would bless what they put their hands to, Father, that they would look in the mirror in the morning and see a perfect creation, God, because you are the one who formed us the way that we are, God. And I pray that we would begin to change the way that we look at ourselves, Father, so that we can be the leaders you've called us to be, Lord. God, I pray that you would just you would ignite a fire within each and every one of us, Father, for the people in this business and our team that we haven't had in a while, God. Maybe we've gotten a little dry. Maybe we've gotten a little tired or weary. But Father, we know that your word says to not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest, Father. And so I pray if there's anyone who's tired, Lord, I pray that they would just, Father, catch a second wind, that they would finish this month strong with the goals that they have. They would go after them with all their heart, Father, knowing that it's in your hands. It's our job to put our hands in to the work, but it's your job to bless it, Father. And so we're asking you to do that. We love you. We thank you for the time that we've had tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you guys so much. You're just the best.
Love you guys.
Yeah, we'll have this recording up and I'll send it to you guys here in just an hour or so. All right, everybody.
Okay.
Until
Bye,
tomorrow,
guys.
make this the best evening you've ever had.
All right.